Small Farm Nation Academy teaches farmers how to build their brands and get more farm customers. Plus, you can get a modern Farm Press website free with your membership if you want. So check out smallfarmnationacademy.com today and get growing.
What should you name your farm or small business? Hey, it's Tim Young of smallfarmnation.com. It's a question I hear asked all the time, and today I'm going to walk you through how to choose the right name for your farm business. Okay, so it's branding week here on the Small Farm Nation podcast, and we're going to discuss an issue all new business owners fret over, and that is what to name your business. So let's talk about the importance of naming in this episode. Not just the name of your farm business, but also taglines and product names. Now, you may already have your name locked up, and that's fine. Then again, you may be considering rebranding, or maybe you haven't started your business yet. This is a particularly interesting decision for farms for reasons I'll cover in this episode. And if you've already named your farm, just listen in anyway to what I have to say, because no doubt down the line someone's going to ask you your opinion about what they should name their farm. So let's dive into this issue, and let's start with a question. What is your single most important brand asset? Is it your logo, your colors, your clever tagline, those cute little farm icons you have in your logo design? No, of course not. It's your name, silly, because that's the thing everyone repeats and remembers. Your name. They don't say your logo, they say your name. So it's super important. So what you name your farm is really important, right? Now, when I say it's important, I'm saying it's your most important brand asset. But that doesn't mean it has to be the perfect name. So you don't want to sweat over trying to find the perfect name. After all, whatever you name your farm, it probably won't have much to do with your farm's success or failure. I mean, if you think about it. I mean, in earlier episodes, I've given the example of two very successful farms, Polyface and White Oak Pastures. And they're both fine names, but I don't think either farm remotely owes their success to the name that they chose. Still, while there is no one right name, let me tell you, there are plenty of wrong ones that will damage your brand. So the question becomes how to understand what works and what doesn't. How do we tell right from wrong? And let's start by taking a look at some questionable names. Okay, there's a towing company in North Carolina called Camel Toe. Their tagline, "We'll snatch you out of a tight spot." Yep, Camel Toe. If you don't know why that's funny or inappropriate, you've lived a lot more sheltered life than I have. Then there's Bunghole Liquors. Supposedly this is the kind of liquor you drink to get drunk. Now their tagline, "We're not number one, but we're right up there." And they put two T's in the but. Get it? We're not number one, but we're right up there. Clever boys. And we've got Morning Wood Furniture. And then there's Spermie's Fulfillment Operation. What? Honestly, I don't know what some of these folks were thinking. Now, some may find these names humorous. Others may find them offensive. Regardless of how you find them, think about the impact these names and these naming choices have on their brand identity and the emotions they conjure, and the customers they attract, and the customers they repel. So you want to think up front about what you want your brand to stand for and choose a name consistent with the positioning you desire. So what about using your name or your family's name for your farm? Okay, sure. I mean, that can work, but lots of times using your name backfires badly. I mean, let me give you a few examples. There was these folks that had the last name of Butcher. Now, that's not bad if you go into farming, I guess, but they chose a different business, and they named that business Butcher Funeral Home. I mean, I don't care how long you've been in the funeral home business and how much you care about your heritage. Choose another name. There's a billboard in Indiana that read, "Welcome, you've entered Tom Raper country." I've entered Raper country? Are you kidding? Another one of my favorites is Stoner Insurance. I mean, you really think I'm going to buy insurance from a guy named Stoner? Now, I'm also not going to stay at the Barf bed and breakfast or order anything to eat from Herpes Pizza. I mean, come on. You got to use common sense if you're going to force your name on a brand. I mean, my name is Tim Young, and let's say I sell baby chickens. Young Poultry has a very different brand implication from Young Chicks. I mean, if you go to youngpoultry.com, you'd expect to see chickens. If you went to youngchicks.com, well, let me go over there and see what's there. Yeah, that's not what I'd want to have as part of my brand. So using your name has serious brand implications. So let's figure out how to pick the right one for you. And to help you do that, I have created for you a list of 9 criteria for choosing the best name for your farm or your local food business. Okay, here we go. Number 1, with all else being equal, keep your name as short as you can. Number 2, and be memorable, which means being different, clever, and number 3, easy to pronounce. Don't have a name that's hard to pronounce that you got to look up. Number 4, and very important, if you're hoping that people find you online, choose an SEO descriptive name that gives a clue to where you are and or what you do. Number 5, and because of that, avoid hyphens, which are confusing with domains. Number 6, and stay away from trendy words in your name. They'll go out of style and you'll be stuck. Don't call yourself, keto or paleo or something like that. Number 7, don't choose a name that boxes you in. If I chose Tim's Poultry, but later wanted to add pigs, it would be confusing. Number 8, now, as you heard with the questionable brand names I gave you a second ago, choose a name that's consistent with your brand values. And number 9, of course, make sure you can use the name. If you can get the domain name, you're probably in pretty good shape, so start with that. Now, as I said, I realize that many of you already have a name for your farm, but who knows? Maybe you don't, or maybe you're considering rebranding. So let's take a look at how we can name a new farm. Now, I've got a simple tool we can use for this. It's a tool that can help you select words or phrases that are important to you, words that are heritage, mission, or product related, or words that have geographic meaning to your farm. If you want to download a free sample of this tool, just go to smallfarmnation.com/farmname and download the template. That's smallfarmnation.com/farmname. But for now, picture it as having 4 columns across the top. Column 1 is family or heritage words. Column 2 is mission words. Column 3 is geographic words, and column 4 is product words. Now, this is what this approach would look like. We'd start with the first column, family heritage words, and make a list of anything you can think of. Your name, the year you settled, grandpa's name, or whatever. From there, you create a column for mission words, words that describe why you're doing what you're doing. Then you add geographic words. These can be locales near you, landmarks, features on your property, and so on. And finally, make a list of product words. But you want to be careful on that one. You don't want to choose a narrow product word that may limit your ability to expand earlier, like in the example of Young's Poultry, and later I want to add pigs. Now, do all this in an hour, up to 15 minutes per category, and that's it. Then, and I think this is really important today, consider the search terms that you want to rank for. All things being equal, it would be nice to have those search terms in your name if it worked well. Don't force it, but if it works, it works. Okay, here, let me give you an example of what we did with our farm and how we came up with the name. It's pretty easy to see how we came up with Nature's Harmony Farm. That was a 100% mission-inspired name. The name conveys nothing about where we were, where we are, or who we are, or what we produce. But it pretty well conveys our values, and it set the tone for much of our brand voice. But what else could we have done? we could have used a geographic descriptor and been Georgia Heritage Farm. That would have helped with SEO since people are likely to search on Georgia pork or Georgia farm, for instance, but Georgia Heritage Farm made us sound like a conservation or historical place, so I wouldn't have done that. Then again, we could have replaced farm with pork. That would have worked well for SEO for sure, but would have limited us down the road to only pork. So you'll need to go through this for yourself, but the template gives you a good way to approach naming your farm. Now, of course, there are two types of names that you may need. There's the name of your business and perhaps the name of your products. So let's talk about naming products. Now, many farms and restaurants may not use product names, but cheesemakers, soap makers, wineries, and distilleries, just to name a few, definitely do. And there's no reason why farms can't do it. We did it on our farm. Here's an example of a product name. If you're not familiar with Label Rouge is a legal standard in France for the production of food items such as pastured chicken. It's a quality guarantee that requires farmers to comply with stringent criteria. But while it's formally governed there, there's nothing that says you couldn't create your own branded standards. Or perhaps get together with other farmers in your region to create an agreed upon set of branded standards. When we delivered to Atlanta, we didn't just say, hey, we're coming with some meat. We created a brand called Farm Train, announced that we'd be making scheduled trips to Atlanta, and invited people to jump on the farm train. Do you see how that approach ties directly into our brand voice and values? Our brand personality was fun, and I think that came through on podcast and in product naming. But what we were doing was serious. Most important, our brand mission was to invite people to share the journey with us, right? So, of course, we wanted them to hop on the train. Now, of course, most creameries name their cheeses to differentiate them, but you can do this with soaps, meats, honey, or whatever. Your raw milk doesn't have to be just raw milk. It can be called, Liquid Gold by XYZ Farm, since I'm sure your grass-fed cows are producing rich, creamy milk with a golden hue. Just be sure that your product brand name connects with your farm values. Now, to understand this better, let's look at a real-life case study. Jasper Hill Farm is a great example of what I mean. Let's start with their logo, since many people fret over logo design. Just go to the Jasper Hill Farm website and take a look at their logo. It's super simple, basically just a text logo with their name inside a blue box. It says Jasper Hill Farm inside a blue box. But they've chosen an orangish color, which I'm sure is no mistake since it resembles the color of cheese. And speaking of cheese, there's a wedge of it in the top left corner that points straight to their name, drawing your eyes there. It's a simple but very effective logo. It's the kind of thing that anybody could design in Canva. You don't need to hire somebody for this. This takes a little bit of clarity and imagination. Now, it's not a requirement, but taglines can also be very helpful if done correctly. The tagline that Jasper Hill Farm uses, a taste of place, with their location just beneath it, it speaks volumes. Number one, you know where the place is, Greensboro, Vermont. And number two, you have a sense of what they're doing and why it's important to them, preserving a taste from a specific area. Their cheeses are absolutely world class, but when you look at the product names, they may seem a bit odd. Most of them are names that are unfamiliar to us. What in the world do they mean? I mean, they are all local landmarks or historical figures. And choosing those names ties directly into Jasper Hill's mission and brand identity. It makes perfect sense for them. So using this template I just shared with you, we can see that Jasper Hill chose a 100% geographic name for their farm, and they continue this approach using local landmarks for the naming of all their products. And this approach has served them very well, but not because they have great names. It serves them well because they execute well and connect with customers. As I said, they make fantastic cheese and they sell it profitably. So clearly, there's a lot of ways you can name your farm, but here is the wrong way. Don't ask someone what your name should be. It's your business. Own it. Act like it's your business. Trust me, when you start asking opinions, you're going to get them. And they'll have you questioning everything you do. This is your business. Step up to it. You know why you started this business, so give it a name and get on with it. Okay, let's spend a minute now on taglines and why they're important, since I talked about that with Jasper Hill Farm. Now, whether you call it a slogan or a tagline, it can do great things for your business. And there are tons of great examples out there of taglines that have worked great. While each of them are memorable, they're all quite different. Some give a hint of what the business does, such as with BMW's Ultimate Driving Machine. Wheaties' Breakfast of Champions and Maxwell House's Good to the Last Drop do the same thing. Some other taglines challenge you in a fun way, such as Lay's Bet You Can't Eat Just One. And they're right, by the way. They're all great taglines, and they help greatly with the marketing of each brand. Now, let me give you 6 reasons why taglines are important. Number 1, a good tagline helps in recalling your brand. Number 2, a good tagline can set you apart and differentiate you. Number 3, it will define what you offer. Number 4, it can convey your values. Number 5, it can tell a story. And number 6, a good tagline can impart positive feelings about your brand. Now, the major taglines I just mentioned a moment ago were developed quite a bit of time ago, before there was such a thing as SEO. Today, taglines could also be good for SEO, as well as helping to make you memorable. Now, here are a few modern examples of taglines that relate to farming and local food. As I mentioned, Jasper Hill Farm, A Taste of Place. Polyface Farm, The Farm of Many Faces. Good Earth Farms, Pasture-Raised Meats. Earthbound, Food to Live By. Niman Ranch, Raised with Care. Whole Foods, World's Healthiest Grocery Store. Earth Fare, Healthy Food for Everyone. Now, many of these taglines do nothing to help with SEO, but you could incorporate SEO into yours if you wanted. I mean, Niman Ranch's Raised with Care could become Raised with Care in your location, for instance. Now, if you're stuck on coming up with a tagline, use your mission as inspiration for your starting point. It's not really that hard to do. Here are a few sample taglines that I just whipped up. Your Dairy Farm, Milk Us for All We're Worth. Your Farm Name, Growing Food That's Fit to Eat. Your Organic Farm, It's Only Natural to Want Food This Good. Your Farm Name, Let's Grow Together. Your Farm Name, Vermont Poultry, Pork, and Dairy. Don't use that unless you're in Vermont. Your Farm Name, Nothing Added, Everything Gained. Your Farm Name, Goodness Grows. You like one of those? Great, use it. It's easy coming up with taglines, and there's no right answer. Now, as I said earlier in the beginning of this episode, do I think your name and tagline are important? Yes, of course, and I would take it just as seriously as you should. But I would invest in a business that had a great execution plan and business model over one with a great catchy name, logo, and tagline any day. So give this issue of naming your business and products the attention it deserves, but only the attention it deserves and no more. Don't waste too much time on this. It's important, but it's not as important as your business model and profit strategy. Focus on that. Well, that's it for this episode, Small Farm Nation. Remember, you can keep up with me and all my content at smallfarmnation.com. You'll also find a link there to the Small Farm Nation Academy, the online membership site with videos, downloads, a forum, and one-to-one coaching from me to help you grow your farm business. And hey, would you like some free video training? Just go to smallfarmnation.com and you'll see the link for my free 3-video farm marketing launchpad. It covers the one-page farm business plan, the fatal flaws of farm websites, and much more. Again, it's my free gift to you at smallfarmnation.com. Okay, so until next time, here's to hoping you get growing.
Well, you don't know what you're feeding yourself. You just buy whatever's on the shelf. You don't care if it's full of GMO, and what's inside, nobody knows. K falls to the left. the truth. My food is real and locally grown, just a few miles from your home. K-Frost to the left of you, right up to the right. Here I am out here farming for you. Well, factories farming, not the waste. I'm eating fake food every day. I grow real food your family needs. Now come along and sing with me. No GMOs. Yes, I'm out here farming for you, and I just want you to know the truth. Yes, I'm out here farming for you, and I just want you to know